to have a feel of what is happening there. Greetings, my name is Omololu Rosso. Today on Talk Points, our focus will be on impact of Japa syndrome on Nigeria and on Nigerians. I have a guest in the studio here that will be joining me in doing the analysis. Her name is Patricia Okosodo. She's a civil society activist and also a senior legislative aide to the Speaker of House of Representatives. Patricia, nice having you.
Thank you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
You ran away from the studio.
Not really.
Okay, so it's nice having you back. Now, let me first ask you, what do you understand by the word migration? Because to so many people, it could mean different things. What do you think migration is?
I think migration is just simply moving from one country to another. It's just a relocation. It's just like the olden days where our forefathers, the European, came to the country to pick some of our fathers in those days, in the 60s and the 70s, to their country. You know, that's migration. So, but, you know, Nigeria has changed the idea of migration to something else. So migration for me is just moving from one country to another.
Yes, because you mentioned that, maybe I should just take you a little back, and our audience, also our listeners back. Pre-independence era, we had a situation where the colonial masters came into the country. Yeah, they annexed our resources. The British came to Nigeria. The Germans also came, the Portuguese, and also some Americans. They came to different countries in Africa to annex resources. And in return, they took some as slaves back. Those ones now form what we call the Black Americans, the Black British, and every one of them. But even at that, it was a kind of migration, because although it may be forceful, I don't know if you agree with that.
It is.
Okay, if you agree with that, could it be that it is the westernization that we witnessed then, or the migration then, that is leading to what we're seeing here now?
Yeah, it could be, because, you know, it's like a recycling. It's just things, now is a modern way of migration. Then it was forcefully. Now you are willing to do it yourself. Like my late dad was a chief marine officer, and I was told that he left the country when he was 12 years old. That in each villages those days, they pick one person from each family. So he served as an Air Force base person in the UK. But he came back to Nigeria during when he has to come marry my mom. And I think that he taught me a lot. The few years, I was just 12 when he died. He taught me a lot about the Western world and Nigeria itself. And there's so many things that migration can actually bring to the country if we see it differently. It all depends on individual. But when he came to Nigeria, his mentality is not the same. Let me be honest. I used to grow up to say I want to marry someone like my dad, you know, because of the way he does things. You understand? So I think it's because of the training he got from the Western world. That's why he was able to carry out that, bring out those inputs, you know. So for me, during the slave period, a lot of our people were in trauma, and they were able to build their society in the States. And that's why we have the Black world now, Black Americans and Black Western world. But the level at which people are taking the immigration issue now is alarming. So I think it's really doing a lot of harm to the society.
Yes, could it be as a result of, because in the Nigerian palace, we call it Japa, you know, the Japa syndrome. Yeah, could it be as a result of bad administration? Because I want us to take it one point at the other. Let's look at bad administration. If that's the issue, why can't the government, over the years now, put in place measures that would allow people to want to come to Nigeria rather than wanting to leave Nigeria?
Okay, I will use myself as an example, and I always tell people that not everybody wants to run away from the country. You know, when I was able to travel to China on a study program, when I came back, my mentality changed. And I told myself, if I travel for that hours, that long hours, and I go there and I see the development in China, courtesy Honorable Jimmy Benson. If I see the level of infrastructure and investment and the lighting there, I came back to Nigeria, my mentality changed. If I go, I am thinking of what I want to do in the country, you understand? Many people travel, want to get out of the country because things are really bad. Things are really bad. Some people really going through a lot. But there is negative part of this Japa and there's positive side of it.
Okay, let's look at the positive first. Let's look at the positive, because then we can now come to, okay, no, let's take the negative before we come to the positive.
I put down some things when I was writing. I said the negative part of it is that it drains the brain. The brain draining, you know, you want to sell all your properties, you want to sell everything you have. Some people sold everything they have, and at the end of the day, they didn't get to travel. Okay, they didn't get to travel, their money was wasted. That's another problem. It drains the brain. Okay, and again, we lost, doing this thing, we lost a lot of, are we talking about the negative part of it?
Yes, the negative.
Negative part in the country is that we have lost a lot of skilled workers.
Okay.
A lot of skilled workers, which is professional skilled workers. You know, I know myself as a person, I know what I can bring to the table, I know what I can project in each company that I have worked. If I have to leave the country, I'm taking my skill out of this country, taking over them. So we have lost a lot of professionals, skilled workers in the country. And also, I would say that economic-wise, it has reduced a lot of workforce. Because if you used to have 300 workers in your company and most of the intelligent ones leave, there's going to be a shut down of your company if you want to be realistic with yourself. Sometimes people say people can be replaceable, but there are some people skilled that cannot be replaceable. So that has actually caused it. Then also the social impact, which is the separation from families. Some people's husband has been there for 5-10 years, and the woman is in Nigeria, you understand, and she's suffering emotionally. She's drained, and the kids are also drained, because for me, it's not easy to stay away from your husband or your wife. Some people's wife are there, and the emotional stress that it comes with, which is the social impact. I talk about the political implication of it. It reduces taxes, because if I am a Nigerian person and I am working and paying my tax, when I leave the country, my tax is, the country has...
You pay to another country where you are.
Exactly. So it also affects the political sector of the country.
Okay, yeah, I can see those points that you have marshaled out for the negative side. Yeah. Now, let's look at the positive side of it. Now, let's take education, for instance. When you go out of the country, your intention is to... I remember in the 60s, in the 50s, 60s, when our fathers got scholarship. I guess your father did do that, get
exactly.
that too. Yeah, when our fathers got scholarship, they went abroad. Got trained there, came back and contributed their quota to the development of the country.
Yeah.
Now, the situation now, is it still the same or a little different? Because when people go out now, they tend to stay over there. They don't want to come back because, I don't know.
It's different, actually. It's different. There's a change in the system. There's a change in the world. So most people going abroad sometimes for greener pastoral, which is the Japa syndrome. Some of them don't expect what they meet over there. Those days, our father got scholarship, and they were trained, and they come back to their country, and they do something big for their country. But now, these ones, they struggle to sell their property, and they go over there. They don't meet what they are expecting. You know, some of them feel, oh, when I stay for 3 months, I get a job. They don't get a job. Some suffer for a long period of time. Some even suffer for close to 10, 20 years. Coming back home looks like a shame. But for me, I feel that Japa, or whatever we want to call it now. Okay, can we use the Japa syndrome?
Yeah, because that's what Nigerians know, Japa or migration.
Japa is migrating. It's migration. For me, Japa is also good for people that are going in the right way. If you're going through study route, you finish your study, you come into the country, you bring back professional input. You know, that's added value to the country. You understand? So I think traveling abroad or traveling out of the country or for Africa country or European country is educational. I have been fortunate to travel to some countries, you understand, and I've been able to learn. Anytime I come back to Nigeria, I want to do something different. Even my own family, my home, my mom, everybody, they know that it's either she comes, she wants to change this in the house. She comes, she wants to do this. She comes, she's thinking that light should always be in the house. We need to have solar. We need lights to... So people are traveling because, one, there's a lot of poverty. There's poverty everywhere. But the insecurity in the country is majorly why people are actually traveling. Let me be honest with you. I have done a little bit of research. I've seen that a lot of children are the ones traveling. If you look at it, it's youth.
The younger ones.
Yeah, the younger ones are the ones traveling. Because some of them, their parents are farmers, and they can't go to the farm anymore to farm. So everybody is calculating, let's gather money. Let one person just go in the family. Oh, let two people go. So it's the younger ones that are going. Insecurity has really increased the level of Japa.
So that's part of the negative side of,
Exactly.
Of what is happening in the country.
Yes.
So if you are still looking at negative, let's look at unemployment too.
Exactly.
The employment rate in Nigeria, if you compare with what operates or what happens outside the country, could it also be a reason? Because the statistics from the MBS is saying the unemployment rate is a little high, but it's dropping. You know, it's a mixed bag. Could that also be?
For me, I believe that we need to start encouraging skill training for our young people, entrepreneurship, because most of our young people, they're just going to school. I want to come out, I want to get a job. And when they come out from school and they don't get their desired job, they're frustrated. So the increase of unemployment gets higher. So if the government can actually support entrepreneurship, young people in business, I think we will have young people exporting products from Nigeria out of the country instead of them thinking of going abroad to just stay and do maniac jobs.
This Japa thing is also encouraged by Western countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I recall that many years back, over 10 years back, or even more, the American government would want to give green card to people, skilled workers to come in.
Yeah.
The British will also want to encourage people to come in, just like Canadian government too will also want to do.
Yeah.
And if we look at that, that is another Japa syndrome. But in years. Now, could that have been some of those things that have encouraged Nigerians to want to go abroad when they see their counterparts or their friends over there doing good, and they also want to go?
Yes, that's why I said it's also a positive way of migration. Migration for me is not like it's something that is bad. Actually, it's not like it's bad. You travel out of the country, you make good money, you come back to the country, you invest the money. So you're actually bringing something home. So it's not like just jackpotting and going there, not doing anything. Some of our people, and let me be honest with you, a lot of structures you're seeing all over the place, they are owned by people abroad. Massive structures in some rural environments, they are owned by people in abroad. So they make their money, they send it back home, they build houses, they build businesses, and it's working. So, and the encouragement from the Canadian government and British and also the US has actually started from the visa lottery that truly increase our young people and even old people wanting to get out of the country.
Yeah, what are the things you think the African countries, Nigeria inclusive, is not doing right that can encourage people to actually stay in the country and make the country better? What are the things they're not doing right?
I think they are not doing a lot.
What are those things?
I just want to say three things to point out. I want to talk about insecurity.
Yeah.
I want to talk about lighting Nigeria
Electricity.
To the world.
Power generation.
Yes. We need to bring back the nightlife in the country. You know, in China, I was out till 2 a.m. And I'm like, is this morning? There are some countries you stay till 3 a.m. it looks as if you're still like in the daytime.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring back the nightlife. Everybody don't have to go to work in the morning time. Everybody don't have to. I asked them, why are people selling at night? They said everybody don't have to go out in the morning. People work shift. How many people want to work shift these days?
Except for companies that,
Many people don't want to work shift. Before, women work shift. Some people don't even want to talk about night shift because of the insecurity that is in the country. There's so much things happening right now. The insecurity, people being kidnapped. Even in the Uber, you're entering, people being kidnapped. So there are safety measures that the government need to put in place to create a synergy between the people and the government. It's just like People's Assembly. Create a synergy between the people and the government. Let the people be able to say, okay, we are secured enough to work at night. Some shops need to open for 24 hours.
I was coming to that because mostly in Nigeria, when you also travel, just like you said, when you travel abroad, you see shops open.
Some shops needs to open for 24 hours. You work in the daytime, somebody work in the night. Somebody is medically sick at night and you can't go to the hospital. The pharmacy needs to be open 24 hours. But if there's insecurity, who wants to leave their store open? So bringing back the nightlife, it's going to help us increase revenue for the country and also bring back employment to the country, those increased job employment. And also, we're talking about lighting up Nigeria to the world. A lot of companies are shutting down because of the electricity issue.
Problem, yeah.
So if we light up Nigeria as a whole, let's take Lagos State for example. If we light up Lagos State, that we have 22 hours light, a lot of companies will not run away. They will come to Nigeria to invest because we have good weather, we have good soil for other countries to come and invest. That's why we have a lot of China in this country. That's why we have a lot of foreigners in the country, because our weather is so suitable for investment. But the country has not built up the stability to encourage large investment.
Okay, yes. From all your travelings, from all the things on your interaction as a civil society activist too, what are the things that you want the government? I want you to proffer solution now. Okay. What are the things you want them to do right, so that things can get better, people can stay in the country, even for the youth and even the elderly?
Okay, I think we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to look at the high cost of education. A lot of young people are dropping out of school because in those days where we were in the 80s, we had free education. We can also bring back free education so that children are, because I always say, if you want to save the world, educate them. You understand? Ignorance is our problem. So free education in some rural areas so children can go back to school. And also reduce the hardship of the people. Now we are looking at food area. Let's provide young people that can actually go into grain farming. We can start with green farming, introduce them to green farming so that we can have, I call this community farming, garden, where a community can have land. We have a lot of lands that are left unused. Each community can grow their crops and go there and pick whatever they need, which is opening the environment to community farming. We need to bring back that community farming and let there be security for our, a lot of times I've gone through some areas, in some rural areas, I see a lot of women in the farm. All they plant is just vegetables. But if we bring back security in the farm, they can increase planting yams, planting carrots, planting some other vegetables that we struggle to import from other states. That's it. And also, we need to encourage the youth largely, because we have a lot, during the election period where I did some partnership and research, I saw that we have a lot of young people that register to vote. And at the end of the day, during the election, they don't come out to vote because they are disappointed. But we need to keep encouraging them. Some of them have skills, but they don't have financial stability to run businesses. So we can support agencies that can monitor. If you're empowering, empowerment has gone beyond the state of just buying a machine for somebody, buying a dryer for somebody. how do you know that the person has, you give the person machines. Do you know if the person have money to buy materials to start up? What are the startup kits that you're introducing to these young people? So let's take empowerment to another level. Fully empower a youth to be able to empower somebody else. Then we have a recycling. We have a youth that is empowered. We bring in more youth to be empowered by that same person, and we are like transferring knowledge. It's called training the trainer, and empowering them fully to be able to be self-independent. I think that's another way. And also, I believe that the government can also look into the health sector of our people. And the HMO is working. The government is trying in Lagos State. It's really trying. But I think that we can actually do more during the health sector.
Okay, the healthcare too should also be...
Yes, we look into, because I always tell my mom, take care of the body that makes the money.
Take care of that. I like that. Take care of the body that makes the money, so that more money can be made.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm hoping that the government, we the people too, will also play our own part, because that's another issue. And for the youths, as we round up, what advice do you have for them out there? Okay,
I would say to every youth out there, you're a pace setter. You're born to do something on this earth. All of us cannot run out of the country. We need to make a stand. We need to make Nigeria work for us, work for the younger generation, work for the unborn. So I believe that every youth that is listening to me out there, you can make it in this country, Nigeria. You have your skill. What are you selling? What is that product you're selling? Because you are a brand by yourself. Whatever you're selling, take it out. Money cannot come and meet you in your house when you keep sitting down in the house. Don't be too comfortable with the situation of the country. You can make a difference in this country. Thank you very much.
Yes, they're saying that do what you can do for the country and not what you expect.
Exactly. You're a solution provider. Keep providing solutions. Keep providing solutions.
Yes. We've been discussing the impact of Japa syndrome on Nigeria and on Nigerians, and my guest has been Pat Okosodo. Pat, thank you so much for being part of Talk Points.
Thank you very much. I love the topic.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we're just here to educate other people out there.
Yeah.
Yes. On that note, we have come to the end of Talk Points. 767 and 112 are still on the line, so let's call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble. Contribute your quota to the development of Lagos and indeed Nigeria. See you some other time. I am Omololu.